my goals this year is to use my Instapot. I got it a few years ago for Christmas, and unsurprising to me, I haven't used it as much as I'd hope. The last 3 years we've done meal delivery services with EveryPlate, but we've canceled that the last part of 2024 and have been cooking our own meals. And so I thought 2025 would be the perfect year to test out the Instapot, use it more, as well as my crock pot, grilling, all of those kitchen appliances I have. So tonight, this is like the second or third time I've used Instapot, so I wouldn't use this video as like a guide, just more of like, oh, beginner user. I found this recipe, Instapot Tuscan chicken pasta. I found it from tastebetterfromscratch.com. Doesn't have too many ingredients. A lot of them are like seasonings that you probably have at home, plus like chicken and pasta. And sun-dried tomatoes. That might be the only like one, you know, that you might have to have trouble looking for. I feel like at the grocery store it's like in one spot. So I figured I'd make this, show you how it turns out. Hopefully good. One thing I did find I was excited about, and this is probably not a new thing, but I found chopped frozen onions. I have another recipe that uses onions, and I didn't really want to like have half an onion in the fridge. I feel like that just never goes well. Everything, I don't store it properly. So I'm excited to have the frozen ones because I think it will be better. So let's get started here. So it says turn on to saute. Season chicken breast on both sides with salt and pepper. I did not get the chicken breast out of everything. And then, so you let it turn on to saute while it gets hot and while you season the chicken. Everything right around here. I'm sure it's not, I probably will have to get gonna wash my hands real quick. I got my hands washed, so let's season the chicken breast. I also got these from our grocery store Fairway. I'm not sure if they're only in Iowa. It might be in Minnesota now. I'm not really sure. But I got it from the meat counter, and they had trimmed chicken breast, which I'm all for, because that's my least part of having to prepare chicken, like getting all the stuff off of it. But that's okay. When I cook, I don't know about you, but I like am constantly washing my hands. My hands are always dry because of that. So it says to season with paprika, salt, and pepper. It calls for 2 teaspoons of paprika. I'm just gonna eyeball that as I put it on. Let's see, where's my salt? I'm not worried about seasoning, like being too much. I guess I kind of like the more the better. Paprika. This is from a local spice store here in Des Moines. It's called Allspice. If you can, yeah, it's focusing. They have all sorts of seasonings, oils, vinegars. If you're in the Des Moines area, ever in the Des Moines area, their store is in the East Village. Very good. Lots of options. Very fun to look at. I'm gonna pass it all right now. Alright. So the next step is add 1 tablespoon of olive oil to the hot Instapot. And it says it's hot, so that's nice. Feels hot. I did think about where this should go. I'm gonna set this right here. You guys can't see that. I do have a tablespoon actually made of this. A lot of times I just eyeball with olive oil, but I've seen those olive oil dispensers that have the measurement on them. Those seem really exciting to me. Maybe I'll get one at some point. All right, and I'm assuming you have to let that heat up a little bit. I mean, it's pretty hot in there. And then you add the chicken breast and cook for 2 minutes on each side until browned, but not cooked all the way through. So I'm gonna add those. Yeah. And I'll come back in 4 minutes, 2 minutes each side. We'll see what it looks like. 2 minutes on each side. Definitely look brown. Yes. The next step after you brown your chicken is you remove it, plate it. I put it up here in our microwave. We don't have a ton of kitchen space, or cabinet space, I should say, and or not cabinets, counter space. And the cats, it'll just be safer in the microwave. So next we add the butter and the onion to the pot to saute for 5 minutes. So 2 tablespoons of butter and 1 cup of it calls for yellow onion. I'm sure this is white onion, but it's probably okay. So I'm going to let that saute for 2 minutes, and I'm probably going to get it spoon and move it around. I'm sure you're supposed to do that, even though it doesn't call for that. So I'll be back when that's done. That onion has cooked for 2 minutes. Next, we're gonna add the chicken broth, seasonings, milk, pasta, and chicken breast back to the pot. So I have my 4.5 cups of broth. This is actually beef broth, but I don't really think it will make a difference. Put that in there. And then seasoning, so it's a teaspoon of dried basil. It's a teaspoon of all the seasonings that we have here. Of course, this is one that has never been opened. So basil, Italian seasoning, paprika, and garlic powder. That's salt. I'm gonna add a little bit more garlic. Go ahead and I'm gonna add the chicken breast in. I think I'm gonna have to take this back out, so I will put the plate up there. Pasta, so it calls for 12 ounces of pasta. This is a 16 ounce box of pasta. I'm just gonna go with the whole box because I don't know what I'm gonna do with 4 ounces of pasta, so I think it will be okay. We'll see. I made and a cup of milk. We don't normally have regular milk unless it's for a specific recipe. A lot of times we'll have half and half or heavy cream, so I just use that in place of milk. Okay, we're done. I'm going to stir it because I feel like it needs to be stirred. I got everything. Chicken broth. Okay, so here's the part that I guess we'll see what happens. So we reclose it. And then turn release valve to seal. Press it to turn. Okay, so seal. Cook on manual high pressure for 5 minutes. Pressure level. Okay, so it's been 5 minutes. I also realized I didn't have it sealed. I had to read the instructions to make sure I was doing it all correctly, and I was. So, well, I read the instructions, so I hopefully did it correctly, I mean. So it says when the timer beeps, do a controlled quick release, turn the valve, but if any liquid sprays, close it again and try in a few seconds. So, okay. There was a little bit of liquid. It says any liquid, so we'll see. After we get the pressure release, we're going to carefully remove the lid and then remove the chicken, and then we're going to tint it with foil on the plate. We're going to see how that goes. This recipe does call out and says don't skip this step. The chicken will continue to cook under the foil. There's a lot of liquid coming out. So I'll come back in a few seconds. Okay, I think I got it released. It went for a bit, but it stopped spraying pressure, or air, so I assume it's good. So now I'm going to remove the lid. It smells really good. I'm just gonna set this over here on a heating pad that I have. Okay, now we're gonna remove the chicken breast. I'm just gonna set this up here for the time being. And then I'm gonna go ahead and stir it. Okay, I was slightly worried that the noodles wouldn't be cooked just because, I don't know, that's what I was concerned about. But they seem like they're cooked. And so next we're gonna add the cream cheese and stir it till it's melted. It calls for only 6 ounces, which is 3/4 of this block. Again, with the pasta, I don't know what I'm gonna do with a small amount of cream cheese, so I'm just gonna use all of it. Another thing, I think the cheesier the better, right? So I'm going to stir that and then I'll come back for the next step. We stir in spinach, sun-dried tomatoes, and Parmesan. So I chopped up the sun-dried tomatoes. I'm going to add those in. And my spinach. I also did a rough chop of this, just figured it would be easier. here's how long it's gonna take to wilt. I don't know if that's the correct term, but you know, cook down. And then I'm gonna add Parmesan. It calls for grated. I have shredded. I feel like you can't go wrong either way, probably, in my opinion. And then you shred the chicken or chop it, and it calls for chop. I'm gonna use this new chicken shredder thing my husband got for Christmas, and to throw it back in there, and then we'll plate it. Call my first Instant Pot recipe in a couple years a success, and we have all this big container left over, so I think we can at least probably get a couple suppers, maybe a lunch or two out of that. I would recommend it. I'll have it linked down below. It really was pretty easy. Not a lot of like prep. I will say, anytime I've cooked with sun-dried tomatoes, they can be a little chewy. I had a few bites. I think I just need to take more time and chop them up thinner, but that was like the only critique, and that's purely on me, not the recipe itself. So yeah, I'd recommend it. I think it would feed quite a bit of people, and it's super good. And you could add way more spinach to like add more healthy. We used whole wheat pasta, which turned out good. I didn't have any issues with that. Even adding the extra pasta than it called for, I didn't have any issues with it being undercooked. So yeah, I'd recommend.